Well, you could cover a parking lot with all the possible reports on customer service. So what do you focus on? Well, I've got good news. There are just 7 aspects of service, 7 areas that you really need to pay attention to. If you're trying to track too many things, the most important ones won't get the attention they deserve anyway.
Welcome. You're with Brad Cleveland, bringing vision and clarity to customer experience, customer service, and contact centers.
These 7 aspects of service build on each other, and they form an effective framework for identifying the metrics that actually make sense. And as artificial intelligence makes inroads into customer service, these essentials matter more than ever. AI doesn't replace the need for clear metrics. It raises the stakes. Weak metrics get amplified. Strong metrics get more powerful. The better your metrics, the more effective your decisions and your use of AI will be. So the first key aspect of customer service is anticipating customer needs, or the workload forecast. If you don't have an accurate prediction of how many customers you'll be serving and what their needs will likely be, it's going to be very difficult to deliver effective service, right? And that's true for any kind of operation, from a small, say, veterinarian clinic to a large multi-site contact center. So a good supporting metric is tracking the variance of the forecasted work to actual and get as specific as you need. For example, if you're an insurance company, you'd look at how many customers will need help with their homeowners policies on, say, Saturday morning. But before we get to the next metric, just a reminder, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. And if you're listening to the podcast, you can subscribe wherever you prefer to listen. The next key aspect of customer service is closely related. You've anticipated the workload. Now it's important to anticipate the staff and other resources required to handle it. For example, if you manage the emergency department of a hospital, it's essential to ensure that you have the right number of doctors, nurses, and support staff in place at the right times. So a supporting metric here is the variance of actual to planned schedules. Do you have the right skills in place at the right times? The next aspect of customer service is wait times, or how accessible you are. Accessibility is really an outcome of the first 2 aspects of service. Did you predict the workload, the number of customers you need to serve, and get the right resources in place at the right times? Supporting metrics here focus on customer wait times, and different terms such as service level or response time are used in different settings. Be sure to include all types of access, whether customers call, chat, walk in, or use other alternatives. Next is the quality of interactions. And along with wait times, this is probably what most of us think of when we refer to customer service. What actually happens at the point of service delivery. Criteria such as understanding the customer's need, resolving the issue, accurately entering data, and other aspects of quality all matter here. Both customer feedback and internal quality scores based on samples of interactions can be used as a supporting metric. The next essential area in delivering service is employee engagement. And by engagement, I mean the degree to which your employees are committed to your mission and the work that they do. Studies consistently show that engaged employees provide better service. And we really need studies for that, right? I think we know that intuitively. You can measure engagement through employee surveys and indicators like retention. Next, and you may have guessed it, engaged employees lead to happier customers. So look at customer satisfaction. In fact, when you're looking at all of these areas so far, they should ultimately roll up to customer satisfaction and loyalty. The supporting metric here could be a net promoter score or customer effort score or an AI-produced customer sentiment metric. You can also look at behavior such as repeat business, reviews customers post, and new customers who come from referrals. Finally, a high-leverage, high-value aspect of customer service is cross-functional, or what I like to call strategic value. What do you learn in customer service that can help other areas improve products, services, and processes? The overall customer experience is what we're talking about here. Customer service can be such a powerful set of eyes and ears, and you'll want metrics to support these efforts. For example, you might look at samples of the financial returns these innovations deliver. Let me share a quick example of how this framework plays out in the real world. I worked with a leadership team that was investing heavily in AI and analytics. They had dashboards everywhere, but they were frustrated by a lack of progress. They just weren't seeing the results that they wanted. Performance wasn't improving the way they expected it would. So when we stepped back, the issue wasn't, technology or the data, it was focus. And they were measuring everything, but managing very little. So we put these 7 areas on the table and asked a simple question. All right, which of these are we truly managing? And which are we just reporting on? And that conversation immediately surfaced some gaps, especially around, in their case, workload forecasting and employee engagement. Once they narrowed the metrics and strengthened the foundations, the tools, the data started producing very different outcomes. I guess it wasn't the data, it was what they were doing with it, right? So nothing magical here, it's just they had more clarity. Here's my advice. Take inventory of these 7 areas. Are you missing any? Strengthen those where you're weak and eliminate metrics that aren't adding value and are simply clutter. As a leader, having this palette of metrics encourages focus in the right areas and leads to greater consistency and strength in your services. For more on how customer experience, customer service, and contact centers are evolving, head over to bradcleveland.com. Thank you so much for joining me.